stadium as you love me. Back in the stadium. So we're back on the transfer football hype. A lot of rumours today. What's going on? Nobody knows really. It's all fake news. As I say, I'm surprised. If you've watched some of my other streams, all transfer rumours are fake news. It's only done when the club actually confirms on Twitter that the player has signed for the club. Before that, it's all nonsense. It's all speculation. It's all conjecture. But it is fun. It is fun to see which players are going to go where, which club's going to sign who, and it makes, when they're not playing football, it makes it all fun, especially in the summertime. So let's start off with, if you saw my tweet, what we're going to look at is Pogba. Apparently Pogba is on his way out. Well, he might be on his way out of Man United. He only has a 1 year contract, 1 year left on his contract that he signed that mega contract for when he went for 100 million. To think that was that long ago. It's just pretty crazy to think it was that long ago that Pogba signed for all that money. And with all due respect, he's not really lived up to that price tag. But everybody knows he's an excellent player. So let's see. He's got 1 year left on his contract. Will he sign another contract? That will depend on how Man United start. If Man United are starting well and they're doing well, they'll probably be able to get Pogba as a new signing. And there'll be a boost, if they sign him, lock him down to another 3-4 year contract by, say, before Christmas. That will be a good boost to United. But they really do need to make sure they keep Pogba. Otherwise, next summer he's out on a free, and that will be some really, really bad business. So Pogba to PSG. If I was Pogba, I think that would be a poor move for him. I would stay at Man United. Man United look like they're getting things happening, especially if they can sign Varane. Pogba knows Varane very well. Maybe Pogba may help in getting Varane across the line. If they sign Sancho, these are the type of players that Pogba wants to be around if he wants to win Premier League titles. Maybe not this season, but definitely the season after, or the season after that one. If he goes to PSG, he's just going to go there for money. And he wouldn't fulfill his potential. Normally I would say, go to one of the Spanish clubs, but as we all know, the Spanish clubs are in disarray. And as what's Kemi Tiber saying, what's going on at Barca? Exactly, the Spanish clubs are in disarray. Normally you'd think Pogba might go to Barcelona. But I mean, I read the article the other day that Barcelona are in major financial ruin. And their wages are 125% of their revenue, which I don't know how. It's as if a Real Madrid fan has got hold of Barcelona and just sabotaged the club and just ran them into the ground. But what's going on at Barcelona is a very strange story. Lots of players available. I think all the players are basically available for the right price at Barcelona. And I read today a very interesting one. Griezmann, obviously one of the best offensive players in the world, has been offered to six Premier League clubs, which is probably the top 6. It'll be interesting to see where he will go, because it definitely looks like he's going to leave, because many of them have already agreed to wage cuts, but there's still so many players at Barcelona that Barcelona can't even pay their wages, so they need to decrease these wages, or the better option is to sell them. So clubs are going to get players like Griezmann for cut prices, Griezmann would be, even in today's market, I know he's not the best, but he'd still be 60-70 million pound player. You're probably getting him for half that price. And who could do with Griezmann? Okay. I mean, I think everyone in the Premier League could do with Griezmann at some point. But I think the best signing, and I tweeted about this today, the best team that could sign Griezmann for a good price, and if they get him on, say 200,000 a week, so not too much money. I mean, obviously to us that's a lot of money, but you don't want to bring a player like Griezmann in and put him on double the amount of your next player, because he might turn into, like a Sanchez. But I think Liverpool it would be perfect for, because they could put him into Bobby Firmino's position, and he'll get goals, and he's going to create, and he's going to play great through balls to Mane and Salah on the left and the right. Bring Firmino back against the the weaker sides, and he can play as the number 10, Firmino. But against the stronger sides, perhaps Firmino does suffer. But I think Liverpool should go in for Griezmann. He would make them a very, very good team, especially if he plays in that false 9, because Liverpool don't really like to go for a proper number 9. I can't think of the last decent number 9 they've had. Probably Suarez. Definitely Suarez. What am I talking about? It would be Suarez, Sturridge, and Torres. Let's go to what some of you guys are saying. So Pogba needs to move. United has worked out. League One isn't great, but PSG are Champions League contenders. I don't think so. I mean, they're always going to be Champions League contenders because the amount of money they spend and the amount of quality that they have. But as I think we mentioned this on the last stream or the stream before, by the time March happens or April happens, I know you're going to say, oh, they didn't win the league last year, but normally they've won the league by March and they lose that competitive edge and they just get dumped out. It's difficult for a team that doesn't play in a competitive league to be able to push on and really make the difference in the last part of the season, because they're not used to the high intensity PSG, and they never will be. That's the problem. Even if Mbappe and Neymar gets 50 goals a season, who cares? It's in France. It's a very poor league. There's nothing. The only reason you go to PSG is for the money, or if you're a young player, you get to play in the Champions League. You're at a big, well, people think it's a big club because it's PSG and they've got a lot of money, but they're not a big, really. I wouldn't say they're. I mean, they're probably one of the biggest French clubs, yes, but I wouldn't say they're a European titan. And then you can use PSG to move on to a bigger thing, which Mbappe must be thinking in his head at the moment. Let's see what you guys are saying. Messi has to go. Fred's back. Messi has to go. Why does Messi have to go? Apparently he might be going. They signed him on a contract, but they still have a month left with the financial ruins they're in to come to some sort of financial agreement to be able to get Messi back, as well as the new players they've signed. Depay and Aguero, they may not sign apparently in a month's time if they can't get an extra bank loan to deal with Barcelona's finances. I think this is probably one of the most underreported stories in football, is what's going on at Barcelona, because it's not in England, we don't really care. But give it a month's time, Barcelona is going to be a crazy story. I don't know how they're going to get this money together. Messi's, he's not going to be poor out of this deal, but he's took a pay cut for him to only play for, say, 3 years, but he's actually going to have a 4-year deal, so when he actually leaves, he'll still be getting paid for a year. So maybe Messi has to go, but Messi at the moment is Barcelona. I mean, where does he go then, Fred? If Messi has to go, where's he going to go? Kemi Tiber, it's going to be a fire sale. Yeah, it is. It is going to be a fire sale at Barcelona. And some of the players, are still world class. They're still world class players. So we're going to wait and see. I mean, they can't pay their wages. So who have you got in there that you'd want? The goalkeeper, I wouldn't mind him. He's a quality player. You've got Frankie de Jong. He's not done too well for him, but he's still young. I think he's a good player. They've got youngsters. They've got Pedri. They've got Ansu Fati. These are great players. But there's a lot of deadwood around that teams are going to pick up for pennies on the dollar. So what else was it? Sell the Barca players to China, lol. Yeah, I mean, I remember a few years ago China was buying everyone. I think it was because of the initiative of Xi Jinping for the investment into football in China. They put a lot of money into building football pitches and a lot of money into football because, it might have been politically popular. But it seems as if the CCP have drawn away from that policy of football and no one really cares. And no one's going to go to China now anyway because of obvious reasons, but because of the virus. But they used to pay silly money for I remember Ezequiel Lavezzi signed a deal for $400,000 a week. I mean, he's a good player, but he's not that good. What else are we saying? Fred, get real. Yeah, Fred's get real about what? That Messi has to go. I mean, I think Fred's got something in for Messi. I remember last time he was campaigning for Messi to go. He's probably one of those Ronaldo fans that thinks Ronaldo's better than Messi, But, fair enough. Some people are like that. Hello, James. Yes, hello. Hello, Ketabuni. It's nice to see you, Ketabuni. Thanks for the shout out. Now, Jerry, man, on too much money for Liverpool. Jerry, who's Jerry? Are you talking about Jerry? Oh, Griezmann. You're talking about Griezmann. Probably, yeah, probably. But you can get him for a really cut-price transfer price. You know, you get him for say 20 million, and you give him say 200, 250 for 2 years or 3 years. It works out very cheap. It just depends if he can perform. And, he's probably still hungry because he's not had a good time at Barcelona. He doesn't seem like a lazy player. He just seems like a quality player. So I think it would be good. Good point, but Bayern don't play in the competitive league. It's way more competitive than PSG in France. The quality that Bayern, even when Bayern have won the league, say, which a lot of the times they have won, they're still playing a higher quality of side. To keep them fresh and on their toes. PSG are playing who? They're playing like some French farmers. Okay, Monaco may win the league every now and then, but who else really? I mean, I know Lille won it this year, so maybe Lille must have some very good players. But you can't compare German football to French football. I mean, if you've ever watched German football, it's very competitive. There's a lot of goals in German football. It's just attack, 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 attack. In some ways, it's better. I mean, this is a bold shout. You're going to clip this. It's not better. It's a good, but the quality is not as good as the Premier League. But the entertainment factor, if you watch German football, is fun. It's just end to end to end to end. It's just fun football. And German football, I think, is very underrated. That's why I think a lot of the English teams are sending out their players out on loan to the German teams because, it's a good standard. So what's Fred saying? They should start from scratch. Start focus on the youth. What Barcelona? I assume what you're talking about because you're talking about Messi. Yeah, what's it called? La Masia, the very famous Barcelona youth academy. I mean, they seem to have a new one in this Pedri, who seems to be, maybe the next Iniesta. But yeah, I agree with you. Barcelona need to focus on homegrown talent. That's always how they've been so great. Xavi, Iniesta, Messi, PK. So I think they need to concentrate on that, especially because they know they haven't got any money. I tweeted out today that you watch Barcelona will be trying to restart this notion of the European Super League very soon because they haven't got any money. That's the reason why they're interested in it. Because I always thought Barcelona was owned by the fans. How did they convince the fans to join this European Super League? But it's because they're potless. Okay, so what are we saying next? This is a long one. Kemi Taiba. This is about Barcelona, obviously. They have to slash salaries and get players out before Messi will be allowed to sign and play. And he's going to take a 50% pay cut over 5 years. But bugger off to the MLS. I don't imagine he's MLB. I don't imagine he's going to play baseball after 2 years and still pick up his Barca salary. Imagine Messi playing baseball. That would be funny. Just him wearing one of them shirts that's way too big for him. Because they're all massive, the baseball players as well. Is Messi worth all that? Yes. Stupid question. Seems foolish to me. No player is worth ripping your whole squad apart for. I feel sorry for the Barca fans. Well, let's be honest. Why would you feel sorry for the Barca fans? They've had a lot of glory in the last 10 years. So it's about time they have to, eat a bit of humble pie. I mean, I'm sure they'll be back in the next 5-10 years. They're Barcelona, but whoever's managed that club, as I say, it must be some Real Madrid fan or something like that hates Barcelona. That's just to sabotage the whole club. Because reading about the financials in the papers it's been crazy. It doesn't look as if it's. I mean, when your salaries are 125% of your revenues, it's not a feasible business plan, that is it? I mean, football is a strange sport where the salaries are probably the most expensive thing, as well as the transfer fees compared to everything else. But imagine if that was a normal business. Your salary is 125% of your revenues. Yeah, it's not going to last very long. Fred, yeah, that's what we thought, Fred. Ronaldo's better than Messi. Yeah, we thought that. You say Ronaldo's better than Messi. You've been telling me that Messi has to go. Where? Go on then, Fred. Where does Messi have to go? Who should sign Messi? MLS, not MLB. Messi playing baseball. Yeah, exactly. I mean, maybe he could. Maybe he could get. I think you're right. He'll go to the MLS, but Messi, I still think's good enough. obviously he's still good enough. He's going to get Ballon d'Or. He's the best. Him and Ronaldo, in my opinion, even though they're older, them two are still the best two footballers in the world by a mile. There's nowhere else. There's no one else near them. Now I know that someone like Jorginho or that type of player like Modric won Ballon d'Or. Who won? Virgil van Dijk, I think, won European Player. But these players are not nowhere near as good as Ronaldo and Messi. And I mean, Ronaldo's what? He's 36. He's still the second best player in the world by a mile. Who's the third best player in the world? I mean, that's a difficult one. That is a difficult. I would say it's probably Neymar, but he made the wrong move. Neymar could have been the best in the world right now, but he made the wrong decision. MLS would be good for Messi. There he would get his money. Yeah, and he'd get the lifestyle. The thing is, I imagine about these European players when they go to the MLS is because over here in Europe, they're like superstars, right? Like everyone must bother them all the time, and everyone knows who they are. But when they go to America, nobody knows who they are. Like, they don't even like soccer, do they, man? They're into American football and basketball. So if someone like Wayne Rooney, when he was playing over in Washington, he can just go out with his kids. He's got his privacy. They're not really gods in a way as they are over here in Europe. So that's the other thing that he probably looks at, and is the lifestyle's great as well, isn't it, for Messi? I mean, he'll have to learn English though, but I'm sure he can. He's got enough money. Get a few tutors. If he needs an English tutor, let me know, Lionel. What are we saying here then? Messi should go to Galaxy. Yeah, probably will. I mean, they're all the same, the MLS clubs. They're all Mickey Mouse. Messi isn't the problem, it's upstairs. Agree with that. Bad investment on players in and out of the academy. Ridiculous wages for no reason. Selling Neymar was the start of the end for them, lol. Yeah, exactly as I said. The person that's running Barcelona is like a closet Real Madrid fan, or someone's sabotaging them from within. Someone is sabotaging them from within, because it just doesn't seem right to me, the amount of poor decisions they've made over the last few years with transfers, wages, everything. It's such an average side, and they're still reliant on Messi. I mean, obviously any team would be reliant on Messi, but we'll wait and see. Kemi Tiber, cheers Fred. I worry about the mad finances in football. It's not sustainable, and we'll end up with the ESL idea being rebooted sooner or later. I'm a Derby fan. Rooney. I tell you, Rooney makes me laugh, Because as I was saying to you earlier, Fred thinks that Ronaldo is the best player in the world. And I think he's the second best player in the world. And he's the same age as Rooney. And Ronaldo's playing at Juventus, the highest level. He's got so many Champions League goals last season. He's just got the golden boot in the Euros. He's probably going to have an amazing season this season. I mean, he's so physically fit. You don't even know that he's 36. He's going to go till 40. And he's still the best, or the second best in the world. Whereas Rooney is the Derby manager. They just kept out of relegation this season by the skin of their teeth. He was a good player, though. Yeah, Rooney was a great player. One of the best Premier League strikers ever. Tough season for Derby. Best of luck to them. Yeah, I mean, they're going to need it, aren't they? Because they're garbage. Especially with Rooney in charge. I mean, I don't think he's the sharpest tool in the box. Rooney makes us all laugh. Yeah, of course he does. He's banter. Messi best of all time, James. Of course he is. I mean, people would say maybe Maradona or Pele, but I didn't really see Maradona or Pele. I saw them play in the highlights, in the World Cups, and that's it. I never really saw Maradona play for Napoli. I've never seen Pele play for his club, but you look at the stats, they were great. But I think Messi, Ronaldo, it's because of probably the science, the sports science behind it all, and the fitness levels and all of that thing back in the 70s and 80s when they used to play. They don't have the level that they have today, especially with someone like Cristiano Ronaldo. Cristiano Ronaldo's 36. When I was a kid, a 36-year-old was they're at the end of their career. No one's carrying on at this level that he's playing at, getting the top goal scorer in the Euros at 36. But I mean, right, I promise you, we'll fix that problem. But But yeah, Zlatan's been able to do it as well because he's nearly 40, and Dani Alves is another one. He's went out and captained Brazil today in the Olympic team. They beat Germany 4-2. 38, he's wearing the captain's armband. I think that the players go on for longer now, and I think it's because of the sports science and all of the technology and everything and the diet that they have available to them today that Pele and Maradona never had. Especially Maradona. I mean, another player that will be put in this category is George Best, but I mean he retired at 25. So what could he have been today? But I would say Messi is the greatest ever, just because how he plays it so effortlessly. I think Messi is the artist and Ronaldo is the scientist. But Messi is the greatest ever and Ronaldo is the second greatest ever. But Ronaldo does get a lot more results done, I'll give him that. And he's done it at different clubs. Messi's is difficult to say because he's only been at Barcelona and he was at some of the best Barcelona teams ever as well. What are we saying here then? We're going back to Pogba, are we? Pogba to Derby. Maybe his brother, Matthias Pogba, could be going. I think he plays in Scotland. And maybe that's what you're saying. Yes, Kemi Tiber. George Best never retired. Well, he's definitely retired now. He went to America, didn't he, to play for New York or whatever. He was like the first type of playboy footballer. But he did finish the game at like 25. He was a bit of a wasted talent. The pressure on footballers today, got to give them credit. Buffon is another one, 43. Wait, is Buffon still playing? I thought he retired. 43 is outrageous, man. I mean, he's double the age of Donnarumma. That's crazy. I know Donnarumma's 22 for some of you in the chats and go, oh, 44 is it? But nearly double the age. George Best was bang on it too much. Yeah, he was bang on it too much. He loved the beer. And he loved it. He loved it. He loved the lifestyle. As I say, he was the first playboy footballer. I mean, there was probably ones before him, but that I would know. But he loved it, didn't he? He loved the lifestyle. He loved the fame. But it must have got to him in the end. And the problem is with a footballer is it's such a short career. You can't really stop playing for at 25 because you've only got another 5-10 years left at best. And that goes like that, Buffon plays for Parma now. Okay, that's where he started, right? Parma. That's nice because I can't imagine him having a club after. So he's going to start and finish at Parma. I mean, didn't work out for Rooney, but I'm sure it'll work out for Gigi. But I was going to go back to the transfers before we crack on to the fantasy. I was going to say about Chelsea. Chelsea today have been linked with both Eden Hazard, that's obviously not done anything at Real Madrid. It was a lot of money. I think it was about 80 million that Real Madrid bought him for. And Real Madrid have got problems as well, it looks like. They look like they're trying to sell players. I think it's as if the bankers have just went to Barcelona and Real Madrid. It's like, right, enough of your shenanigans. Give us the money. Like, where's the money? And they ain't got the money. They've just been chatting nonsense for like, whatever, because they're Real Madrid and Barca. But it's as if the bankers have walked in and went, come on, we need our payments. So the only thing they can do is sell players. And Real Madrid, I mean, they want to sell Hazard because Hazard has done nothing. He's done absolutely nothing. Let's be honest. What has he done? He's cost them a lot of money and he's put on weight. I mean, I could have done that. I could have went to Real Madrid, put on weight. I'd have been, enjoyed a few tapas, a few bit of it, Spanish food. I could have done that. Anyone could have done that. And now he's itching to get back. He probably is itching to get back because Real Madrid isn't the club you want to be at the moment either. I know it's a bit slightly better at Barca, but they're nowhere near the Champions League either, are they, Real Madrid? So yeah, he probably wants to come back to Chelsea, but do Chelsea want him? I mean, if they can get out of him what he was at Chelsea, obviously, yeah. He's one of the best Chelsea players in the last decade, of course. But it's a gamble, isn't it? It's like, he's already went to Real Madrid, flopped. But it's that type of flop that's like lazy flop. He can't be bothered, like Alexis Sanchez. It's like he can't be bothered to play. He's made his money. Oh, if he's on the bench and they call him to come on, he's like, really? Do I have to? was thinking of I don't fancy it today, boss. And he just seems like that sort of type of player to me. He doesn't seem like a young, hungry player that Chelsea need. That Chelsea have got Pulisic and Hudson, maybe not Hudson-Odoi, but Mason Mount, Timo Werner. These all seem like players that want to build on their game and get better. I think Eden Hazard. I mean, we're all thinking of the name Eden Hazard. We want him to be part of the squad if you're a Chelsea player, but I don't think he's the Eden Hazard that Chelsea sold. I think it'd cost quite a lot of money, and I don't think it'd produce that much at all. Hazard should have stayed at Chelsea. Maybe, but they needed to replace Ronaldo, didn't they? And they had 100 million, and Hazard was at Chelsea for a while, and it's Real Madrid, Chelsea. Real Madrid, Chelsea. There's only one winner there. It's Real Madrid all day, every day. Right? Especially in normal circumstances. Real Madrid is a huge club. Chelsea is a big club, but it's not Real Madrid. And it was Real Madrid after winning, a lot of things, but they seem to be in trouble at the minute. I don't even know if Zidane's still the manager. They always just give him it back, or whether he can be bothered to do it or not. But obviously he's a very successful manager, one of the most successful managers in the world, but doesn't really get the credit he's due. Sorry to talk about Barca, but they have done some strange transfers. Neto, the goalie, yeah. Paulinho, Pjanic. All players that cost too much money. Money laundering, mate, lol. I've always thought that about clubs. I always thought that about Everton, because I always thought they were laundering money for the ridiculous prices they were paying for players. It's like, I mean, how does it all work, the transfers? Because when you see it on the deadline day, I don't think they actually pay them, say, 20 million cash from one account to another. It's always like, we'll give you 2 million now, and then 3 million every month, and then it will give you an extra million if he gets a goal with his head or whatever. It's not as clean cut as we all seem to believe it is. It's all secret, lol. Yeah, I think it is all secret. There's a few of them that say undisclosed. But yeah, I think it is all secret. Alright, I want to move on to another point. This time about Harry Kane and the transfer. Now, it's going to be an interesting one. We spoke about Harry Kane quite a few times in this stream, if you've watched us before. I think, personally, if I was Harry Kane, I would push for the move to get out of Spurs. He's got to leave Spurs this summer. Otherwise, he's just going to be sitting there doing what he's been doing since he signed for Spurs. Winning nothing. No offence, Spurs fans. He's scoring goals. He's an excellent player. He's got some excellent players around him. They're doing well in certain competitions. They get Champions League final. But Harry Kane's too good of a player to finish his career and have no trophy cabinet. He's too good. So he has to think. And he's not that young anymore either. I should have checked his age this time, but he's 27, 28, and he really does need to get out. And if you want to win trophies, go to Man City, right? Because even if you're not going to win the league or the Champions League, you're definitely going to win either the FA Cup or the League Cup. And that's big for Harry Kane, because he's not used to that. I don't think he's ever won anything, has he, Harry Kane? So that's how he'll be thinking. I don't think he'll care about the money. And Spurs, they like to make out they're not, but they're a selling club. Anyone that they have that's too good for Spurs always goes to the bigger clubs. Always has done, always will do. Berbatov, Modric, Bale, gonna be Kane. So Man City want him apparently, and so do Chelsea. If I was Kane, I'd go Man City, because you join in one of the best managers in the world, and it's a guarantee that you're going to win trophies. Aguero's not there, you're just going to come into his position, and there you go, you're in. You're going to start. The only problem is Jesus. I've read today that, I don't know if this is true or not, as I say, whatever they say on Twitter, take it with a pinch of salt. But Riyad Mahrez, Sterling, Jesus, or Bernardo Silva will be offered plus money for Kane. Now, if Spurs could get... None of them players will want to go to Spurs, though. That's your problem. Why would them players want... Maybe Jesus might want to go, because he might be sick of being on the bench at Man City. But the other three get enough game time. So, we'll wait and see on that one. You've said quite a lot here, though. Chelsea have Havertz as well. I forgot about him. And Mount now. Chelsea haven't moved on. Have moved on. Don't go back. Yeah, they got Pulisic. They got Hudson-Odoi. They got Werner. They don't need Hazard. They really don't need Hazard. They need a striker because Hazard's not going to be cheap either. They need Haaland or Kane. And but so do Man City. We spoke about this last time. It's all secret. Yeah, we've said that. Where's the Yorkshire Shagger? I don't know. Maybe he's shagging something. So, Yorkshire Shagger is a wanker. Yeah. No, he's a good lad. He's a good lad. He's passionate. It's what we want on this channel. Passion. So, Kane is Man City bound. Same with Grealish. Kane has won the Audi Cup. It counts. Jesus is off. Maybe. But if Jesus is off, where's he going? Grealish, Man City as well. That's another one that everyone's always saying, oh, let's do Grealish. We're going to get Grealish through. But I don't think... I think Grealish is an excellent player, but he's not good enough to get into Man City. I'm sorry. He could become good enough, but he's nowhere near as good as Kevin De Bruyne. And then I don't think he's good as Bernardo. And then, you could probably argue he's better than Foden, but Foden's a youngster at Man City. I'd rather develop Foden than him. I just don't think he's going to be guaranteed to play at Man City. So if I was Grealish, I don't think I would go. I don't think I would go at all. Alright, the other thing I wanted to squeeze in was Emile Smith-Rowe's new deal at Arsenal. He's now the new number 10 at Arsenal, that iconic number. Paul Mertens wore it, Dennis Bergkamp, Robin Van Persie, Mesut Ozil, Jack Wilshere. Some great players there, except Jack Wilshere. No offence, Jack. Don't know how you got that shirt, but maybe... I think Emile Smith-Rowe's a good player. He's a tidy player, clever player, got a good touch, he's got okay pace, he's not slow. I think he's a good, and he's Arsenal through and through. I think it's a good move for Arsenal just to back. This is what I was saying on the show. They've been backing the youth, so they've been backing Emile Smith-Rowe. He's your number 10. Saka's 7. Hopefully Martinelli gets even more game time this time, and Arsenal can really push on. I think everyone seems to think, and me as well, I think Arsenal will either do as they've done this season, which is really poorly and inconsistent, or I think they will do well because they're expected to do poorly, and they're getting these players. If they put in their let me say again, if they're putting their faith into the youth players, and I think they may pay dividends. Saka, I'm expecting big things from him this season. I think he's going to be an exceptional player. If he can add goals to his game, he's going to be top quality player. And Emile Smith-Rowe as well. He's going to have this new number 10 role. They've rejected a £35 million bid from Villa a few weeks ago for him. So we'll wait and see. And they got Martinelli on the left and Aubameyang up front. I think Arsenal are not bad. I think they're not bad. They need some... Defensively is what they need to shore up. The goalkeeper has only got a year left on his deal. So apparently they're in the market for a new goalkeeper. I was saying today on Twitter, no one seems to be caring about this. This PSG goalkeeper, Keylor Navas. Everyone hates him. He was brilliant at Real Madrid. And then Real Madrid disrespected him and signed Courtois and told him to jog on. And now he's been excellent at PSG. But PSG have also told him to jog on and got in Donnarumma. So he's a great goalkeeper available. And someone like Arsenal could come in. They could do with his experience. And they could do with someone like Keylor Navas. I only say that because apparently Leno may be leaving next season on a free, or he wants to leave. Because I think Leno is a very good goalkeeper anyway. So I don't think Arsenal really need a goalkeeper. I think they need more defenders. William Gallas, great, is number 10. Yes, who remembers that when he was wearing number 10? When Arsenal swapped, I can't remember who they swapped him for, but Gallas had the number 10 shirt. And I don't know if you remember at Chelsea, Boularus had the number 9 shirt. It's always weird when a defender has a decent number, like a 9 or a 10. It's like, take that off him straight away. Haaland will not go to Chelsea. Dortmund will not sell him. You might be right there, Fred, this summer. And Haaland might not want to leave at the moment. It's probably best for him just to stay for another year and go next summer. You're probably right there, but I think Chelsea, someone's going to get him, and you've got him for the next 5 years, and that's the prime time of his career, right? whoever's going to sign him, and it looks like these Spanish teams are out of business. Not out of business, but they can't afford Haaland compared to the English teams. The English teams are going to get all these young players. Mbappe, in the past, Mbappe would have went to Barca or Real, but these clubs are in trouble. So all these players are coming to the Premier League. No one else can afford them. So it's quite good for Premier League football with all these young players. And if it can go Chelsea, Man City, Liverpool, any of them, Man United, it's good for the football of the Premier League. Kuna's brother, if Dortmund sell this year, they get a better fee. Probably. I think they're going to get a good fee anyway, but they're probably looking for a replacement. I mean, Dortmund are amazing at replacing their players. They'll probably sell him for, 75, 80 million, and then they'll get someone in for like 10, 15 million. In fact, they've got that Swedish striker in the Euros, haven't they? That Isak. He's probably his replacement already. He looked quite a good player. So, Dortmund are very good at that. Depends if they get a ridiculous offer. I'm not sure what you're talking about there. Navas has 2 years left and he's 35. No chance. I mean, he'll be cheap then, won't he? I don't know. I mean, I'm talking about Arsenal's goalkeeper because they're linked with this Ramsdale. Aaron Ramsdale just went down with Sheffield United, bottom of the league. Just complete whipping boys, Sheffield United. The amount of times he was picking the ball out of the net last season. I mean, apparently he's a good goalkeeper, but who's paying 35 million for a relegated goalkeeper? I mean, what are they doing over there at Arsenal? If you need a goalkeeper, Keylor Navas is sitting there. It's 35, yeah, maybe, but they need a bit of experience in the squad. I would be happy if they get him, but if Dortmund wait a year, they will get much more for him. Probably, but Dortmund signed. I can't believe when he actually signed Haaland. He was 20 million, wasn't he? Something tiny from Salzburg. No one else wanted him except Dortmund, but I think Haaland's made a great move, and they're gonna at least triple their money on Haaland at least. So it's a great investment. What are we saying here? Especially with the World Cup and he plays well. He's a £75 million release clause next summer. Yeah, I read that on Twitter. Well, if you've got a £75 million release clause, there's going to be a lot of potential suitors for that one, right? A lot of potential suitors. Alright, so especially with the World Cup he plays well. Haaland, that is. Yeah, about the release clause. Mbappe to Liverpool. Yeah. I mean, Mbappe's got a year left on his contract, Don't know if you knew that. Mbappe's got a year left on his contract, so... I mean, it's weird at the moment. A lot of players are going on frees. I mean, if I was a professional footballer, I'd want to go on a free. Because you finish your contract with a club, and then you go to the next club, especially if you're class, like Donnarumma or Wijnaldum or Mbappe or someone like that. You go to your next club, alright, you were going to pay all these money for me, 50, 60 million, if not more in Mbappe's case. Give me a 5 million signing on fee, cash that check, done, and then you get an obscene amount of money in the wages. Then because they've saved so much on you in the transfer fee. Like Aaron Ramsey at Juventus is on a fortune because he was free. So the money that the club saves on the transfer fee, they're going to pay you. So if I was a professional footballer, I'd just be like, yeah, going on a free, bye bye. I'll just keep going on frees for like 3 times, sign 4-year deals, and then be like, yeah, I'm not being sold, I'm going on a free. But obviously you have to keep up the quality of play. What are we saying now? There's a buyback clause for Isaac. They don't own him. Who does? Who owns Isaac? So maybe not. But what I'm saying, maybe even if Isaac isn't going to replace Haaland, Dortmund will find someone that was going to replace Haaland. They always do find a replacement for everyone. They're very good at, surviving and keeping... I mean, I know they haven't won the league for a while, but they're always the second best in Germany considering they sell all their best players. Ramsdale to Arsenal sounds about right. Yeah, it's banter at 35 million. It's like they don't need a goalie unless Leno's going to leave. But if Leno's going to leave, sell him. Get rid of him. And then just get in a goalie. But they need defenders and they need defensive centre midfielders. You leave on a free and get a huge signing on fee. Why wouldn't you? Yeah, exactly. You agree with me. Kuna's brother. But a lot of the footballers are clocking this now. Like before, there wasn't that many free transfers. But this summer's just been ridiculous with the amount of players you could get on a free. Real Sociedad, I assume that's for the Swedish striker Isak. They own him. So maybe they'll probably buy him. I don't know. But they'll definitely have a So he was at Dortmund, Real Sociedad, and Isaac. Alright, we're back again. So the other one little piece of news I wanted to finish on before we pick the fantasy football team is the news about Phil Neville at Inter Miami. Don't know if anyone's heard. They've lost their last 5 games. Phil Neville's the manager there, Gary Neville's brother. I remember seeing a tweet today that football management runs in the family. Football management clearly doesn't run in the family, sorry. So it's only a matter of time until David Beckham sacks his mate Phil Neville. But it's only MLS, who cares? So let's crack on actually to the fantasy football. Let me just share my screen with you. So, fantasy, I mean, it's quite hard to do at the moment because of the transfers that we've all been talking about. But I'm going to pick my squad with you guys. We're going to get a few gems in here. So we've got a few gems in here, I think, for the time being. I think that there's always good players from the promoted side. There's always a striker that's going to do well. Last season it was Patrick Bamford, and the goalkeepers are always good. So who am I going to start off with? I always go for the strikers first. Now Harry Kane is expensive, 12.5 million. Bamford 8 million. I don't think he's going to do it again. I fancy Watkins at Villa. I fancy Villa. Villa are going to have a few players actually. If you saw one of my tweets earlier, I'm going to have Buendia at Villa as well. So let's go through some of the Villa players. How much is he though? Grealish 8 million. It's expensive that for Grealish. But I mean, Traore was 135 points last year. That's not the same Traore. Who is Traore? Bertrand. Ah, I didn't realise they signed Bertrand Traore. Alright, so where is he? Oh no. Buendia, 6.5 million. Yeah, get him in. He looks like a quality player. He's got so much attacking prowess. He's going to get assists. He's going to get goals. I'm going to get some Villa players in straight away. So what are we saying here? Phil for Barca. MLS is a bag of shit. Yeah, that's probably true. But I mean, have you seen the chants in the MLS? It's not quite the same. It's so American. But before he was on loan, I don't know who you're talking about. Isaac, I assume. They made it permanent, but including the buyback, same as Liverpool with Brewster. I might be wrong. Oh, okay. So Isaac went from Dortmund to Sociedad. I don't know. We'll find out for next time. I'll let you know. But it wouldn't surprise me if he'll end up back at Dortmund and he'll be a good player. That's what I'm saying. In some way, he'll end up at Dortmund and he'll replace Haaland, and then they'll sell him for a load of money as well, and then replace him. And it might not be him, but it might be another striker. That's just how they are. Okay. So I don't think I'm going to put in any other Villa players. The Martinez was very good last season, but he's obviously expensive this time. Let's have a look at the goalkeepers. So we've got... I mean, the best goalkeeper was Martinez last season. I mean, Arsenal. He used to play for Arsenal. He was such a good player. He's made a lot of points last season. A lot of clean sheets. He must have gotten a lot of man of matches. So, goalkeeper. Who should I go for? What do you guys think in the chat? What do you guys think in the chat? One moment. So a goalkeeper. Let me think. Who should I put in the goalkeeper? I'll put in... I normally go for 2 cheap goalkeepers. I normally put in cheap goalkeepers. So who's got promoted? Firstly, let's have a look at the promoted goalkeepers. So the first team that was promoted was Norwich. Who's the Norwich goalie? I assume Krul's going to play, but I don't fancy Norwich chances at all. The other team that was promoted was Watford. Oh, whoops. Watford. Who's the Watford goalie nowadays? Ben Foster's still the Watford goalie. I'm going to put Ben Foster in at 4 million. He's definitely got a shot. He's definitely got a shot. Ah, okay. He's definitely got a shot. Foster, I assume he's going to play. So, what are we saying here? The goalkeepers. Who's out alone? Bradley Wright is the GOAT in MLS. Says no more. Who's Bradley Wright? You mean Bradley Wright Phillips? I think. Palace goalkeeper. Who is the Palace goalkeeper? Who is the Palace goalkeeper? Guaita. Not a bad shout, actually, Guaita. But I don't know. Palace could go down this season. They got Vieira, who doesn't know what he's doing. He's got sacked from Nice. I mean, who have Palace really got? I'm surprised Zaha is still there. What else are we saying here? Scott Carson. Who does Scott Carson? Scott Carson! He must be about 47. Newcastle keeper. Yeah, who's the Newcastle keeper? Because Newcastle always stay up with 1-0 wins. I mean, both of them seem to play, so I'm not going to... Last season, so I'm not going to pick one of them. I'm going to go with... who's going to be a good, solid defensive side this year? You know what I'm going to go with? You're going to have a go at me, but I think I'll go with Pickford. They're going to be a boring side this year. Everton, I think. And I think they're going to win a lot of games 1-0. So Pickford is going to get man of the match. He goes in. It's a bit expensive, but we'll have him in. Alright, should we start off with defenders? Yeah, we should probably pick a defender. Alexander Arnold is 7.5 million, but them two, Liverpool, I mean, they were terrible last season. Liverpool, I still don't know how they got the top four. What are you saying? Off with Pickford? Yeah, I knew people would say that. I know he plays for England. I mean, he done alright for England. But I think I'm only doing it because of Everton. They got Rafa Benitez as the manager. He's going to shore him up. Rafa Benitez doesn't really play exciting football. And if he gets them right, I can see him winning a lot of games 1-0. And that's what you need as a goalkeeper in fantasy football. If your team wins 1-0, the goalkeeper's probably going to get man of the match as well. So you get that 3 extra bonus points. You know, you can get 10 points from the goalie. So I'm going to go with Pickford for the time being. I mean, this is only now because I've still got all the transfers to do. Well, I haven't. But they've still got all the transfers to do. So we don't know who is going to... This will be a different team by the time it starts on the 13th of August. So we're just doing it now. But I can't believe the 2 Liverpool players are the top 2. That's crazy. I mean, they didn't even have a great season. But it's the amount of assists they're getting. Cresswell, definitely having... He's a lot like... That Cresswell's... is a lot like Andy Robertson. He's got a great cross on him. I mean, England's got some good left-backs, actually, nowadays. They always struggled. But Shaw's on red-hot form. Chilwell's a good player. And Cresswell gets nowhere near the team. Alright, so we're picking cheaper players now. You can only have a few... With the fantasy football, you can only have a few proper premium players. What are we saying here? Eza for Palace. Yeah, maybe. Maybe Eza. He's a good player. But Zaha is the only notable player that does anything for Palace. Sigurdsson. I mean, Sigurdsson doesn't even play anymore. Good free kick taker, but I don't know. And Everton. Who's Everton? I mean, who would you have in Everton? Richarlison? Yeah, we'll have Richarlison. That's who we're going to have. No, we don't want too many Everton players because I can't see them getting that many goals up front. Might have Everton defenders, but not strikers. I mean, Richarlison's not bad, but it depends how expensive he is. So now I want to pick a... I think I want to pick a midfielder, like a good midfielder. Like one of my premium players. So see how expensive they are. Rashford. Is Rashford injured? Yeah, until when? Shoulder injury, 25% of playing. Because I think he's going to... Oh yeah, that's who I'm having. I'm having Saka. Saka I'm having. 6.5 million. Done. He's in. Saka is going to be good. I can feel him this season. He's great. Leeds players. Maybe Leeds players. Who have they got, Leeds? I mean, it depends who they keep, because there's some of the players that have been linked away from Leeds. The goalkeeper seems to be quite good. Ayling, yeah, he's the right back, actually. I'll have him in. I'll have Ayling in there. Definitely, that's a good shout. But the rest of them, I don't really know that much about him. Harrison seemed to be alright. Rafinha seemed to be alright. Dallas, he was a defender last season. He was amazing. But he plays in midfield. They're always quite good, the fantasy football players, where they're classed as defenders, but they're actually midfielders. Um, so who else can I go for? That's what I was saying. I want my premium midfielder. I was picking, and I know I'm going for Kevin. Kevin gets the job done. He's amazing. He's one of the best players in fantasy football because he doesn't really score, but he always gets like 2 assists, and assists are like really highly scored anyway. And he does score, and then he always gets man of the match. So if you get like 2 assists and if you play 60 minutes and man of the match, that's like 13 points. And he gets that he always gets double digits. So I'm going for Kevin De Bruyne as one of my premium players. I think for one of my strikers, I need a premium player as well. And I'm going to go for Aubameyang. I am quite Arsenal centric. Aubameyang didn't have the season he should have had last season. But this season I think he's got a point to prove. Arsenal have got a point to prove. As I said in my stream, they could be terrible. But even if they are terrible, and Aubameyang plays, he's still going to score. And he's came down. I remember last season he was 12 million. So 10 million is cheap for Aubameyang. I'm going to keep him for that price. Give him a shot. Give him a chance, Aubameyang. What are we saying here then? Rafinha. Rafinha, I mean, he's good, but I don't know. I don't have. I mean, I know I've got 2 Villa players, 2 Arsenal players. Maybe I have 2 Leeds players. Maybe, I'm not sure. And Ndidi's like a defensive midfielder. He's always getting booked. There's no way he's going in the team. I mean, that's what they need to do. That's the problem with fantasy football. Is the defensive midfielders, they should be classed as like defenders because they're such bad players, like Kante or McTominay or any of them, or Henderson, any of them players. They should get like points for the clean sheets because it's unfair. Pookie, that's not a bad shout actually. Let's see who Norwich have got. They must have some good players. Who did they have last time? They had that Todd Cantwell that was quite good. Billy Gilmore is at Norwich. Yeah, we'll get Billy in. He's cheap. We'll get Billy in. He's going to play. He's a good player. Centre mid, I can see him getting a few assists. And I mean, he's probably not even going to play for me. He's only 4.5 million, so he'll go on the bench. So we'll get Billy Gilmore in as the first reserve. We need to pick some of the defenders. But what are we saying here? Pookie. Let's have a look at Pookie. 6 million. That's not bad, actually. He's a cheap player up front. Yeah, go on then. We'll go for Pookie for the time being. Hopefully he can start like a count. Hopefully he can start like a house on fire like he did last time, if you remember when they went. Because I think Norwich have been up, down for 4 years in a row. 4 years in a row they've been up, down. Anyway, thanks for the latest, the donation. €5. Cheers. I hope you're listening. You're enjoying our content. I mean, this fantasy football is going to be, it's a bit easier now. Hopefully it's got the unlimited transfers. Obviously, yeah, it must do. Because I don't want this team going into the season. What we'll do, guys, is we'll set up a fantasy football league. Just follow us on Twitter. James Richard, most of my stuff through Twitter. And you'll be able to see the leagues. We'll compete and have a little competition, I think. Details will come out later on. But it's fun, the fantasy football. Really fun. I always enjoy it. Because it makes them boring, rubbish games. Like Norwich versus Villa, for example, here. I'll be like, oh yeah, go on then. There's Gilmore. I'll be interested. Whereas, it's sometimes quite boring, the poorer games. Pookie, Championship striker, probably. You picked Alps. Do you even fantasy Premier League? Man. Except for last season, have you ever seen Aubameyang's performance in the Fantasy Premier League? It's one of the best ever performances in Fantasy Premier League, so I don't know what you're on about. Kemi Taiba. Salah instead of Alba. Salah's expensive though, man. It's 12.5 million, and I went for De Bruyne as my expensive player. Salah's like 31 now. Maybe, I mean, Salah is pretty clinical though. And he takes the pens. And considering Liverpool had a poor season last season, he was very, very good. But But let me pick some more defenders. We need some defenders, guys. Who's going to do well defensively? Who's going to keep clean sheets? That's what I was thinking. Everton. Man United, they don't want to keep clean sheets, are they? Digne, I'm having him. He's amazing at free kicks and gets assists. But I'm not having any more Everton players. Digne is good. I'm having him. He's great at crosser and he's good at free kicks. So, you know, anyone that's like that, I'll have. How much money have we got left, most importantly? I've got 22.5 million on 3 players. So we can do this. We've not been greedy. Because I remember when I used to play this, you used to just go into the strikers and pick. Back in the day, you used to pick like Van Nistelrooy, Henry, and like, you know, Drogba. And then you'd be left with like 30 million. But now, what are we saying here? Max Aarons. Max Aarons, I think he plays for... for Norwich, right? The right back. He's meant to be a very good player. He's another English right back. He must be about 74 English right backs. Agree, change to Salah. You would swap De Bruyne for Salah. You're mental, Fred. You're trying to get rid of Messi at Barcelona, so perhaps, you know, you haven't got a clue. Think of pen takers, yeah, maybe, but I can't think of any pen takers. I mean, this is just a preliminary football team. I mean, I've done alright actually, considering I've not been greedy. I've got 22.5 million to spend on 3 players, so what's that? It's like 7 million each. So I might get some cheap. I'm gonna get some cheap defenders. Firstly, like get some ones for like 4 million, because they're not even going to play anyway. They're only going to be on the bench. Max cost. See what the cheap ones are. Manquillo. Johnson, because some of these are going to be youngsters that will actually play. Good. Davis. Who's Davis? Ben Davis? No, that's not the same Davis. I thought that was the Spurs Davis. It must be a different. Does anyone know Ben Davis? Never heard of him. There's a lot of youngsters. 4 maybe might be a bit too cheap. Cody, yeah, he can go in at 4.5 million. Done. Centre half of Wolves, he'll do alright. And let's put Ben White in. I mean, if anyone watched the last stream, the Yorkshire Shagger, it's probably with Ben White tonight. He was a big fan of Ben White. Smith Rowe would be cheap. Good shout. Good shout. Maybe we keep some money in the bank, actually. Or we get Smith Rowe in. We'll get Smith Rowe in, and then we'll get rid of Pookie. That's what we're going to do. But then again, I'll be very Arsenal-centric. I've already got Saka. No, I don't want Smith Rowe. Do I want... Let's see how much he is, Smith Rowe. I mean, we're going to keep updating this. I just wanted to pick my first team, because this is not going to be my team going into it. Where is Smith Rowe? Maitland-Niles. Where is he? 5.5 million, 74 points last season. It's not bad. I think he'll go up, because if you guys know, you go up in the price, you know. The prices can either go up or down. So if he has an amazing season, by the end of the season, it could be 7 million. But last one I need is a midfielder. And I can get an amazing midfielder. I've got 13 million. So maybe I'll get Salah, actually. Yeah, because Salah is the pen taker, and I'll get Salah. Alright, Salah's done. There's Salah and De Bruyne and Aubameyang. They're my like 3 premium players. So that's my team. Pick your own teams and let us know what you think. We're going to set up the team name. Obviously, James Riches. What are we going to call this? Anyone got any ideas for a name? What are we saying here? Ben Title. Yeah, Smith Rowe. Ben Davis is 5th choice at Liverpool. What is he? He must be a defender or something. Keep Pookie. Yeah, I'm going to keep Pookie, because there's always a striker who starts off well for the promoted teams, but that also makes me think Troy Deeney as well. Troy might get in my side. I was always a big fan of Troy. Barnes for Leicester. Allen, Everton. Barnes is a great shout. Barnes is not bad, actually. It's not a bad shout. Maybe you'll go into my team eventually. I mean, we'll keep you updated. Get Bang On It United. No, I'm not going to call it Get Bang On It United. It's got to be it's going to be called James Riches Army. We're probably going to change it. Choose club. For the time being, we'll pick None. Because as you know, I'm not really... I love the game, football, but I don't support a team per se. There's teams that I like, but I'm not here to pick my favourite team. I support. I love the game football. Like, you know, I mean, I mean, my brother used to support Liverpool. I mean, he still does support Liverpool, but he would watch Liverpool versus. Um, oh, thanks for the follow. Entro Pie King is following. Nice. Alright, we're back again. Yeah, I was saying my brother used to, well, he doesn't used to, he supports Liverpool, and he would watch Liverpool versus Tranmere in the League Cup on a Tuesday, and I'll be like, come on, it's El Clasico on. It's a better game. I don't want to watch. But, you know, fair enough. If you want to watch your team, you watch your team. But I'm not going to put it in. I'll sort all this out on Twitter tomorrow, guys. If you follow us on Twitter, um, at James Rich, we'll sort it all out. So here we are. Here's my team. Who should I go as captain? I think I'm going to go with. Well, Arsenal got Brentford away. I forgot about Brentford that went up. They're a brand new Premier League team. So Arsenal, maybe Smith Rowe's not a bad shout. You know, whoever said that shout. I think I'm going to definitely make Aubameyang captain for this game. Pickford at home. I mean, I'll probably check this out later. But I'm happy with my team there. Salah's obviously got to get in. Get rid of Salah for Gilmore. Liverpool, maybe Pukki. Pukki always gets a goal against Liverpool. Man United away, not going to play. So I'm going to go with that as my team. Foster, Cresswell, Digne, Cody, Buendia, Saka, De Bruyne, Salah, Pukki, Watkins, Aubameyang, captain. Not bad. I'm waiting on transfers. Maybe I'll put in some players that gets transferred in. But I'm happy with that side. What do you guys think? You pick your teams, and I'll let you guys know on Twitter. What are you guys saying? Barnes for Leicester. Barnes is a great shout. Get bang on it. 2 goals, 1 cup. My team name. It's topical. It's not bad. 2 goals, 1 cup. It's not too bad. Aja should be a cheap centre back. Aja. Who's Aja? I don't know who that is. Tell me who Aja is. Good luck with that team, James. Kemi time. I think there'll be a few changes because you get unlimited anyway. You know, you get unlimited until the start of the season. But I done that just quickly for you guys. I think it's a good game. It's a fun game. Definitely we'll play it. We'll set up the league and it will be fun. But here's the fixtures. We've got Brentford against Arsenal. I mean, I do hope Brentford do something in the league, especially their first games against Arsenal. That could be a funny game, you know. Aja from Celtic must be. Well, I've never heard of him. And then we've got a full fixture list on the Saturday, so we'll get some shows ready. What we were thinking of doing for the shows before the start of the week, we were thinking of doing a review about all of the top 6 teams in the week just before the start of the season. I'll give you my opinion about their transfer signings, how they're going to do, what I think of them. And you guys let me know your opinions of the teams, because that's what all football is about, is opinions. At the end of the day, with whether we think a player is good or not, you guys let me know. So I mean, if you check out our Medium as well, medium.com @JamesRichShow, we've written an article on the Man United's upcoming season, and we're going to write a few articles more about the top 6 teams, how they're going to shape up this season, who they look like they're going to sign, who they do sign. And you know, you got to follow us on Twitter. That's where the debate's happening, really. Twitter @JamesRich. So Brentford, Ajar from Celtic, good potential Brentford centre back. Trincao for Wolves. I tell you what, these smaller sides. No offence to Brentford or Wolves, but a lot of these players. Trincao, have they signed Trincao? When's next live? Next live show. We're going to be doing them at this time nowadays, guys. Later on, I think it's better. So we'll have up the times tomorrow. As I say, follow us on Twitter for all the updates. But our next one will probably be at the weekend, either Saturday or Sunday. We will keep you updated. But okay, I think I'm going to finish it now. You guys get on to the Fantasy League. I'll let you know tomorrow. Thanks for the follow and the donation to our new subscribers. If you're here and you're not subscribed, not subscribed, that's the wrong word. If you don't follow us, press that follow button. As I say, Add us on Twitter, debate us on Twitter, James Rich Show. But thanks, guys, for everyone being here tonight. We're going to love you and leave you, and we'll see you at the weekend. Bye-bye.